All right, welcome back. So I got a lot of comments on the last video, or no, the second to last video actually, because I'm like one video ahead in real life. So on 74, the ChatGPT versus Claude, I got so many comments saying that I should use it in the CLI, or I don't know how you say that, but essentially, why am I not using Claude or ChatGPT here in the code base when I'm working? I'm actually using the website. I'm going to the website and then going back. And the honest reason is I haven't done a whole lot of research into that stuff. It would make sense to do it. It's just I haven't. And to me, one thing that I kind of struggle with this is, how do you, like, researching the tools that you use is really good to a certain degree because it will make you a lot more efficient, maybe. But there's also this balancing act of like, how much time should you spend trying to get better at using your tools versus how much time should you actually just use the tool? So sometimes it's like, is it worth spending the time to look for a better option when you might as well have spent that time making progress on the app? And when it comes to this sort of stuff, like, this is evolving constantly. So it's something that's quite new, something that I haven't used before. So I didn't even know that you could really, I knew about like Copilot. I've used that before, but I've sort of heard people using like ChatGPT in the terminal and that sort of stuff. I didn't really know how it would integrate. It makes sense that it would. I just haven't really thought of it, to be honest. Or actually, I have thought of it, and I know there's something with Claude where you could use it here, like in my IDE. If I used like something like Visual Studio Code, I'm not sure if it works with Vim, but maybe, I don't know. Quick Google search away and I'd find out. But to me, it's sort of been this thing where it's like, well, this kind of works good enough, but maybe it actually doesn't work good enough, if that makes sense. Maybe by using Claude on the client side or on in my IDE, it would actually speed up my workflow because I wouldn't have to paste in things all the time. I think maybe this is just, I'm making stuff up now without actually having done any research on it, but I'm going to assume that if you can have it on in your IDE, you won't necessarily run out of, you won't be in the case of like, this chat is now too long and you have to move on to new chat. I think that might be something that's just on the chat version of Claude, if that makes sense. That would make sense to me, unless it's like one of those premium features where you'd have to add that and then it would, like, you'd have to pay for it. I don't know how it works. I should probably find out. But we have another thing that I want to do first. I'm going to try to do this. I'm probably going to stop using Vim, to be honest, because Vim is great, I think, for efficient coding when you're actually like at the keyboard a lot and you're doing the typing yourself. But if we look back at these videos, what have I done? Most of it is just copying code from Claude or ChatGPT or Grok and then pasting it somewhere. And the copying and pasting is not super efficient in Vim, I don't think. It's somewhat efficient, but it's not like, I feel like it's, at least the way that I've been using Vim, I don't feel like it's efficient enough. Like the tab system, the searching through the files, like there is the fuzzy file finder thing that you can use, but it's I don't quite get it to work properly. So it's when I search for a file, it just doesn't really find it. And I've just kept going with it because I've been in that place of like, changing my workflow will take some time away from actually making progress. So instead of changing it, just keep doing it and make progress. Because I feel like I've been making quite decent progress. I can't really see that I'd be making like the improvement that I'm looking for right now by switching over to Visual Studio Code, for instance, and having Claude in Visual Studio Code, if that works. I think one of the comments said that that works. The efficiency gain that I would get from that is not dramatic, I don't think. Maybe it is, but at least my preconceived idea of what the efficiency gains would be is that it wouldn't be dramatic. We'll see if I'm completely off base here and I'm completely wrong. I could be, but I don't. That's what I've been thinking. Like, okay, maybe I'll speed up the workflow a little bit, but really we're speeding through a lot of these tasks, and I feel like we're making progress quite fast, and I couldn't really imagine it being like double as fast if I use the IDE with Claude. It might be like 30% faster, it might be 20% faster, 10% faster, I don't know. But from based on all the comments on the last video, I probably am wrong in this, and it might actually be double as fast using it on the client side. So that's something that we're going to do today. But last night, and I regret so much not filming this, not putting this on video, because I wanted to document every single step of this. But I had this drawing evening with my sister and her boyfriend, and they came over and we just sat and drew for like 3 hours in the evening, which was really nice. But I showed them the app, and then my sister's boyfriend, he told me, it was like, why don't you just work on like coming up with the name, the logo? Why would you be drawing anything else? Like, why not just work on this? And my first idea was that, well, I'm going to use this time to relax and do something else. I'm just going to draw whatever, really. But then his excitement and my sister's excitement about the idea of the app got me excited. So then I was like, well, okay, let's come up with a name. Let's come up with a logo. So I spent the evening drawing and trying to come up with a logo. First of all, a name for the app, which I did come up with. And it's a word, it's a Swedish word. I'm not going to say it yet because I need to buy a domain of some kind. And I don't trust entirely that someone will not go out and buy the domain before me so that I can't use it. So I can't say the name yet, but I can show you the logo that I came up with. And I'm going to airdrop it from my phone because I did something that was pretty smart, I think. So we're going to airdrop this to my MacBook. All right. Now, here is the logo for the app, or my idea for the logo for the app. And what this came from is let's open up actually a window next to this. New window. All right. So this is what I did. I went to Pinterest and I searched for, first of all, I was like drawing, and I just came up with like, okay, what can I draw that would be related to the app? Well, the app uses phones. So first of all, I was like looking at phones, and then I was thinking, well, could we use something where we combine a phone with a heart in some sort of way? So like, could we, like the classic love symbol is like a heart with an arrow through it. So I was like, could we change that to have like a heart with a phone through it or something? Is that, would that make sense? Didn't really land on anything with a phone. It was very difficult to come up with, or not very difficult maybe, but I didn't spend a lot of time trying to come up with a design that included a phone in some way. But pretty quickly I drew this design of like a coffee cup with on a plate with a heart like coming up out of it. And my sister was like, that looks really cute. And since girls are probably going to be the target audience for this, because we need to get women onto this app, I took that as a sign. I was like, that's probably a good idea. So then I was like, okay, how would we draw that? So I looked at like coffee cup. What did I, art? Did I search for art maybe? Or design? No. Okay, yeah, this is what I searched for. Coffee cup logo. And then I saw all of these ones. I saw this one. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I like kept going with this and like kept moving, kept saving new ideas. And I was like, this is pretty much what the design was like that I came up with, was like, what if we had it look like a heart that kind of was the smoke or the steam coming out of the coffee cup, which I think was a good idea. But the way that I drew it, it kind of just looked like a broken heart, which I didn't think was a good idea. So then I like came to this conclusion of like, let's see if we can find it by just keep continuing like this. Here. So then I came to like things like this, and I realized that, oh, actually, there's coffee art that you can do where you kind of make hearts, like the classic thing that you do in a coffee cup art thing is to make hearts. And so I then just like started going into this and looking at what could be some coffee art that you could do. And then I came up with or found something very similar to this. Why is it not showing up? Why is the actual picture not showing up? Okay. So I found something like this and I was like, oh, this might actually be a good idea, because like the coffee thing is symbolizing like a cafe. Like this is, I'm making this stuff up. And I think that's what most people do when they come up with logos. Maybe there's better ideas or worse ways of coming up with these sort of ideas. But typically you just like look at, okay, what is related to dating, love, talking on the phone, like meeting someone, what are words that are related to it? What are actions that are related to it? What is the lifestyle that's related to it? What do you do when you are looking for love, if that makes sense? And a pretty classic first date thing is to go to a coffee place, I think, or a cafe, I mean. And a lot of people, or like, I think if you'd say that, I think a lot of people, if you think of like a first date with someone, I think a lot of people would picture a cafe of some kind. So in that sense, I figured, okay, it's not completely unrelated then to coffee art. It's kind of like, well, it has some sort of connection to it. Plus the fact that coffee art actually tends to make hearts. Like a heart in coffee art is really common. And this is kind of a universally recognized symbol as well, if that makes sense. Like most people, I think at least, would straight away realize that, okay, this is coffee art type thing. And so what I was thinking is that the beautiful thing about this is that we might be able to get away with having a heart as our logo for this app, which is something that would be very, very difficult to do, I think, because a heart is so unoriginal, if that makes sense. Like you wouldn't see a heart out in the street and you'd think, oh, that's that dating app. You'd never think that, I don't think. But if you saw this, I think this is different enough for it to be recognizable, if that makes sense. Like this, if you saw a sticker somewhere that looked like this or that had this type of color combination, I think that you would figure out that, or you would be able to connect that this is the dating app. And it's very clear, like if you'd have this as an icon on your screen, it would also be kind of clear that this is actually a dating app. Like it's a love heart. And I also think that it's like, if you compare it to Tinder, which is like that flame thing, I think Tinder's logo is incredibly good, honestly. Actually, let's do this. Tinder logo. And then Hinge logo. So Hinge, I think, is not that great. And Tinder, I think, is very good. Like it's so good, that logo, I think. And Hinge is just, to me, I don't really understand the logo. Like it makes sense. It's very clean. It's very like minimalist, and it kind of works with the intent of the app, I think. But it also is very unspecific. It doesn't, like, you, at least me looking at that H, I wouldn't, unless I knew what it was, I wouldn't assume that it was a dating app. Like I would have no clue what it was. Tinder is kind of like, I don't know, I feel like there's something here. Maybe it's just that it's so like, it's the original one, so you just associate it that much with a dating app. But I feel like there's something there that kind of makes you, it makes sense that it's a dating app in some way, maybe. But with the Tinder logo, it's a flame, and I feel like it kind of symbolizes those, again, this might be the preconception of like what Tinder has turned into, but I feel like that flame thing is also indicative of more short-term dating, not finding the one, if that makes sense. It's like a flame. It's like a burst of energy and then it fades, if that makes sense. It kind of looks like the flame of a match that you'd light. And that's what I kind of associate that symbol with. I associate it with the ignition of a match, which just like will burn up and then it will go away. All of this to say that this symbol is actually a heart, which I think is more associated with love, if that makes sense. And the whole idea of the app is to be more genuine, more towards real connection, more towards like actually finding the one, if that makes sense. And being intentional, being genuine, being real, if that makes sense. And I feel like this symbol, then having a heart in it, is quite good because it really symbolizes that. And at the same time, we have this like coffee art. It has some relationship to dating as well. Like it's not just a heart, it's connected in some way to the actual act of dating, if that makes sense, which is also what we're kind of doing in the app. Like the idea of the app is for it to be sort of like that first initial connection that you'd have on a date in a coffee shop or something, like in a cafe. The idea is that you'd have a conversation with someone very similar to how you would have a conversation over coffee. So I think it really kind of ties together nicely, and it works well with the idea that I have of what I want the app to be. You could also add in things to this. Like you could add in meaning behind it, like the ripple effect, the butterfly effect, all that sort of stuff. Maybe even sound waves from like we're using voice, like we're talking on the phone. So this could also symbolize sound waves coming out of the heart, like you're reaching out, if that makes sense. Like you can make any thing up really to explain why this logo is the way that it is. Now, I don't know which one is best. And this is what we're going to test today. This is what I want to see. I want to see which logo would actually look the best on the screen. So we're going to, for the first time, not just have the Flutter logo thing as the app icon, but we're going to try the brown logo, and then we're going to try the white brown logo, if that makes sense. The reason that I kind of like the white more because it's like this round circle sticks out a little bit more, so it's more clear. If I was to explain it to someone, it's more clear that this is a coffee cup or a coffee cup. Whereas on this one, I feel like the inner circle here doesn't stick out as much. So it's maybe wouldn't jump out to you as much. Like you wouldn't be straight away understanding that, okay, this is a coffee cup, or like this is a something different in the middle. But at the same time, what I'm thinking is that white, how many apps on your phone have white in them? Like all of them pretty much. But if I look at my phone, I could scroll through every single page. There's no app out there there's no app that I have that is brown. So in that sense, it would kind of stick out. It's also an earthy tone. It's like, I feel like the tone of it is also kind of related to the feel that I want people to have in the app, like genuine and down to earth, earthy tones. Makes sense. So I like the idea of it being brown, but I feel like this one looks cleaner and it kind of is better. So if you have any, like, let me know in the comments what you think, which one is best. I might do a vote thing on the channel as well, just to see what people think looks the best. But we're going to start by converting these to app icons. So I think there's like websites where you can do this. Flutter app icon generator. Command line tool, which simplifies the task of updating your Flutter. Oh, maybe this could work. Okay, let's actually ask ChatGPT. Okay, so it seems like I need a transparent background for it if this is going to work. So we're going to have to create that. All right, this might work. All right, we'll see what this does. I don't really know what I'm doing now, but All right, let's see if this now works. The Dark Cloud developer tool uses Google. This data is telemetry. Is not. All right. Okay, this doesn't work. So why does it not work? I'm gonna have to copy this. Okay, now it worked. All right, now what we can do is we'll try to run the app and we'll see if this changes. Because what should happen then is that we should see an icon here. And then what we can do is we can do the same change again, but with the white background. And we can see if that will work. All right. I missed it, so I don't know if it... I did. That's what the app looks like. So that is option 1. Now let's try to do it with option 2, which is going to be the white background. And we're going to do that on a different phone. So that here we go. So let's rename this. Icon 1. And then new folder, icon. And then in that folder, we'll add this one. Okay, I'm just going to do this and be quiet. Okay. And then we will run the command again. And then we will run the app here. All right. So now we can compare the two. We'll just wait for this to finish running. But I think the brown looks quite good, to be honest. Like it stands out, I feel like. Like if you look at what you would have, what kind of apps you'd have on the phone, I feel like this would really stand out. I think. And then we have the white there. I think the white looks good too. Like, honestly, I don't really know which one to go with. I feel like the white might be just slightly better. It just looks a little bit more like the brown. I feel like the inner circle is just not different enough from the background color. And the background color, I feel like can't be too much darker than it is, because then it'll move towards actually looking black, which we don't really want. Because if it's just black, it doesn't look good, I don't think. But the white, I mean, this looks super clean. I'm not going to lie. And the thing is, we could also do stuff where we change the look. No, we're not going to do that. I was going to say that we could change the look of the app to like use that brown color instead. We might do that, to be honest. Actually. Because right now we're using like the apple blue just to make it as clean. Well, you know what? Let's actually use the brown of the app icon, because I think that, I mean, I think the brown here looks really cool. I think it might be a good idea. So that we have like brand colors. All right, let's see what it will look like if we change this. Okay, we have a lot of windows open right now. Pages, talk page. All right, let's see what this will look like with the brown color instead. Okay, this is what it looks like now. The brown is there. And we've got the brown there. Blue up here, but that's maybe fine. I don't know. Oh. And then press unmatch. Yes, I did. That probably shouldn't be brown, but that's something that we can fix later on. I think the brown kind of works. I don't know if it's as clean as the blue. The blue is really hard to beat, but I feel like we also want this to be a little bit different. We can't have it be just your regular old, like, what do you call it? Your regular old iPhone, like classic iPhone app. I don't know. I don't think we can. So this is probably a good idea. Next, now that we actually have a logo, we can add a splash screen. Can we? Should we? Maybe. Okay, this would be incredibly cool. If we had like, imagine having a splash screen where first, yeah, okay. Imagine having this animation. If there is like someone out there that could do this animation for me, I'd super appreciate it. But if we could get an animation where first the screen turns brown, then a heart pops up. No, wait. A droplet goes down into this brown. And then the coffee art thing happens. Like somehow the coffee art happens. Like let's say this starts out being brown, then first you see like a white drop that just like plops into the thing, and then there's some ripples maybe, and then the design comes to life, if that makes sense. Like someone does the I don't know if this is possible to do with this design. Like if you can animate that without, because you don't want to have like a hand or a cup or anything like that in it. It should really just be the white and the brown. But if it's possible to animate it to make it look like, or to make it obvious that this is someone doing coffee art in the animation, and it should be very fast. It should just be like drop, circles, and then shoom, and then it's like done. But it should sort of move organically, and it should look a little bit like someone's doing coffee art. I might do like go on Fiverr or Upwork or something and find someone that can do this animation, because it would be so cool to have that as like the splash screen, I think. I don't know if anyone gets what I'm saying here, but in my mind, I can see it clearly, and I know that that would be really cool. Yeah. That would be cool. Another idea I had was just like to have it be like a it starts out brown and then a drop lands and the ripples create the heart, if that makes sense. That could be also an option. But I think the coolest thing would be to make it be obvious that it's like coffee art, if that makes sense. I don't even drink coffee, but never tasted it even. But still, I like the idea of this. All right, let's not do the splash screen right now. We might add that to a to-do list up here if we can get to it. Splash screen animation. All right, now what we'll do is we will actually exit out of Vim and see if we can get see if we can get this to work. Mr. Visual Studio Code. So let's see if we can get Claude code into Visual Studio Code. Add Claude code to your ID. Learn how to add Claude. Okay, installation, open VS Code, open the integrated terminal, run Claude. The extension will auto install. Okay. I don't remember how you open the terminal. Okay. Okay, command not found. Claude code works. That has a terminal. Just run Claude and you're ready to go. Okay. Maybe we have to do the. Is this what we have to do? What? Just run Claude. But if I don't have Claude, open Visual Studio Code, open the integrated terminal, run Claude. The extension will auto install. Okay, how do I open the integrated terminal then? How to open integrate. Selecting view terminal from the menu bar or by pressing Control plus. Okay. Ah, okay. No. Control. The thing is, I'm pretty sure that I was using the integrated terminal, so I'm not really believing that I need to do something different, but and this says toggle terminal, control option, cool Lord, but it's not, doesn't exist. Okay, this is the sort of stuff that's just, I just get so annoyed. Wait, I'm gonna have to answer a phone call. Okay, this just annoys the crap out of me when you go to, like, I don't know, I feel like I question myself and I think, and I'm probably stupid, I don't know, but it's like reading this, I don't see anywhere, like they're talking here, this is installation, should be how you install it, right? To install Claude Code on Visual Studio Code, blah, blah, blah. Open Visual Studio Code, open the integrated terminal, run Claude, and you should be good to go. There's nothing here, as far as I've least, unless I don't read very well, Claude provides dedicated, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing here saying that you have to install Claude Desktop first. It just says open Visual Studio Code, integrated terminal, run Claude, and it works. And that's not apparently, like, even I'm asking Claude, how do you do it? First, you need to have Claude Desktop installed. Okay. So let's download Claude Desktop then. Obviously, it makes sense that you can't just type in Claude in the terminal and it should work, but it's also what they say that you should do, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, I figured maybe Visual Studio Code, like the latest update of it just has Claude in it somewhere. So it's like, if you run that within the terminal of Visual Studio Code, I don't really understand Visual Studio Code enough to know that the terminal is completely my environment and has nothing to do with stuff that they could add from Visual Studio Code, if that makes sense. I thought maybe Visual Studio Code's terminal has the Claude command integrated or something. But it turns out it doesn't. Okay, now we seem to have it on the desktop here. Does that mean that we can just run Claude? Nope, the command still doesn't exist. So there's apparently a few steps that you need to do before you can run Claude in the terminal. Download the Claude, install and sign into the desktop app. In Visual Studio, go to the extensions, search for Claude, look for the Claude extension by Anthropic, click install. I think that was the one that we installed. Claude by Anthropic, yes. Okay, we've done that. Connect Visual Studio Code to Claude Desktop. Open the command palette, type in Claude, open settings, select it, you'll be prompted to, okay. Okay. What does this mean? Claude. All right, I think we have Claude now on here. I'm not entirely sure, but I think we do. So I guess, yeah, I guess we have Claude. So let's just ask it. Let's see if we can ask it to create a splash screen. Okay. So that's not how you use it. This is just a terminal, but I guess Claude is somehow in it. I probably need to do some research on how to actually use Claude code, but Claude. Let's actually disable Copilot. All right, it said that this should work. So Claude dev and then hello. But Claude dev is not found. Fuck. This is why I rarely spend time on these freaking tools, because I don't know, I've spent like almost 2 hours now. And well, we've done other things actually, but I've spent way too long, I feel like, trying to get this to work, and it's just not. Like, what the frick is going on? Why is this opening a freaking terminal? And why is the Claude command not working? Uninstalled any Claude related. Option 1, continue extension recommended. Uninstall any Claude related. Okay, I don't know. I don't know if it works now or what's the deal with it, but at least I was able to get this to work. So now if I press terminate, and then if I go here and I say, oh, okay, I need to fix something here, then what I can do, I can press here and it will run the Claude command, and this happens, and it doesn't say command not found or whatever. So dark mode, Claude account. And then I'll probably have to log in, which I will do. Authorize. Okay, login successful. Press enter to continue. Enter. Enter. All right. So now we could start using Claude finally. I don't know, I spent like an hour, 2 hours just trying to get this set up, but, or rather, so I hope that this will make me more efficient, but I think it will, because I think I can now do this. Claude. Well, I don't know. I think I can do it better now, but I'm not entirely sure. Git status dot git commit. All right. But that's going to be it for today. And in the next video, I'm going to start using this and we'll see if it's actually better or not. That's my alarm for 12 p.m. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next one, which will be on Monday.